So, when you hear the letters HR, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it filing cabinets, endless paperwork, maybe even some payroll mishaps? For a long time, you wouldn't have been wrong. But that picture? It's completely out of date. Today, we're going to dive into how human resources has totally transformed from this administrative back office function into a real strategic powerhouse. And it's all thanks to a huge revolution in the cloud.
You know, to really get a handle on what's happening right now, we kind of have to look back at where HR came from. It didn't just show up one day as this super strategic department. Nope, it has gone through this massive evolution over the last 100 years or so, constantly changing to keep up with the world of work.
And this timeline, well, it really shows that incredible journey. It all started way back in the Industrial Revolution. You had the welfare officer, who was just there to make sure workers were okay. Then it kind of morphed into personal management, which was really all about hiring and firing. But then look at that huge leap in the 80s and 90s. HR suddenly becomes strategic HRM. And this is the key. Companies finally realized that to win, you have to have the best people. So HR went from being seen as just a cost center to a crucial strategic partner, absolutely essential for getting a leg up on the competition.
So what does that actually mean? You know, what does a modern strategic HR department really do all day? Well, I can tell you it's way more than just tracking vacation days. It's about managing the entire life of an employee inside a company.
As you can see here, modern HR covers the entire employee life cycle. I mean, from the moment you recruit the best talent and onboard them, all the way through managing their performance, helping them with learning and training, and even handling things when they eventually leave. But what's really fascinating here is that this isn't just some checklist of tasks. It's a continuous cycle, and it's all designed to do one thing: attract, develop, and most importantly, keep the amazing talent that makes a company tick.
Okay, so how on earth do you manage all these different processes for hundreds or maybe even thousands of employees? You can't just use a bunch of spreadsheets, right? That would be a nightmare. This is exactly where technology had to step in and play a massive role.
And in the early days of HR tech, it was just a messy, disconnected world. You'd have one special program for this task, another for that one. It meant people were entering the same data over and over again. But the worst part? None of it was linked to the company's core financial systems. The whole thing was just incredibly inefficient and, honestly, an open invitation for errors.
So the first big solution to this whole mess was the ERP, that stands for Enterprise Resource Planning System. The best way to think about an ERP is like the central brain of a company. It links all the different parts, finance, manufacturing, and crucially for us, HR, into one single integrated system. This was an absolute game changer. For the very first time, HR data could flow seamlessly into the financial system, which streamlined everything from payroll to planning your future workforce.
But, of course, technology never, ever stands still. Just when ERPs had solved that problem of disconnected systems, a whole new evolution was starting to happen. And this one was going to take HR out of the dusty server room and put it right into the cloud.
So what's the real difference here? Let's try an analogy. On-premise software is like owning a massive DVD collection. You have to buy all the discs, you need a DVD player to watch them, and you have to store them all in your house. It's all on you. But cloud software? That's like Netflix. You don't own a thing. You just log in with a web browser and get instant access to this huge library of content that someone else manages, updates, and takes care of for you. And this table shows that shift in the real world, using two products from the exact same company, SAP. Over on the left, you've got SAP HCM. That's the classic on-premise system. That's our DVD collection. It's powerful for sure, but it's really focused on the old-school admin tasks like payroll. Now, on the right, you have SAP SuccessFactors. This is cloud-based, or SaaS, and its focus is all on the modern strategic side of HR, talent management, and actually improving the employee experience. This is the Netflix model. It's more flexible, it's more modern, and it's way more accessible.
Okay, so I just used that term SaaS, which, by the way, stands for Software as a Service. But what's actually going on behind the scenes? What does it really mean when a company uses a cloud HR system like SuccessFactors? Let's break this down. Take a look at the column on the far right for SaaS. See all those blue boxes? You can think of those as all the complicated technical stuff: the servers, the storage, the updates, the maintenance. With a SaaS model, all of that is managed by the software provider. This means the company's HR department doesn't need a huge IT team just to keep the lights on anymore. They get to focus on what they do best: managing people, not managing servers.
And this simplification is a huge deal. So now that we kind of get what cloud HR is, let's look at why so many companies are racing to make the switch. What are the real tangible benefits here?
And this is where it gets really, really powerful. First up, the cost savings are massive because you're not buying and maintaining all this expensive hardware. Second, scalability is just key. If your company suddenly hires 500 new people, a cloud system just scales right up with you, instantly. Third, accessibility. I mean, in an age of remote and hybrid work, being able to get to your HR tools from anywhere isn't a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. And finally, you get disaster recovery built right in, which gives you a ton of peace of mind.
So when you boil it all down, the evolution of HR from a paper-pushing job to a strategic driver, well, it just couldn't have happened without the technology evolving right alongside it. It really all comes back to a pretty simple idea. As our workplaces become more dynamic, more remote, and more flexible, the technology that supports our most important asset, our people, has to be just as flexible. And right now, the cloud is what's making that possible.